Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes: ASEAN playbook shows how small states can navigate big power rivalry. Hong Kong marathon, Chen takes 10 kilometers title, Wang wins half marathon. Will China concerns prove decisive in Indonesia's presidential race? Parents need to be aware of online risks. Authorities must ensure that Hong Kong's sporting progress is sustained. ASEAN playbook shows how small states can navigate big power rivalry. South China Morning Post. Southeast Asian nations have successfully navigated the rivalry between the US and China by exercising their agency and adopting a balanced approach. These nations, such as those in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, have positioned themselves as open to collaboration with both Beijing and Washington and have avoided taking sides. They have also sought to diversify strategically by engaging with other major powers and regional bodies. This approach has allowed Southeast Asian nations to maintain their independence and avoid being pulled into the US-China rivalry. Hong Kong marathon, Chen takes 10 kilometers title, Wang wins half marathon. South China Morning Post. The Standard Chartered Hong Kong Marathon took place on Sunday, with tens of thousands of runners participating. China's Chen Yufan won the men's 10 kilometers race with a time of 30 minutes, 58 seconds, while Hong Kong's Candy Sang Hiu Tung was the first woman to finish in 36:46. The half-marathon winners were Wang Kunhang and Choi Yanin. The marathon had 22,000 participants, the half-marathon had 21,500, and the 10 kilometers race had 30,500. Will China concerns prove decisive in Indonesia's presidential race? SCMP opinion. A recent accident at the PT Indonesia Tsingshan stainless steel smelter in the Indonesia Morowali Industrial Park, South Sulawesi, in which 21 Indonesian and Chinese workers were killed and many others injured, has highlighted concerns over poor health and safety standards in Chinese-run smelters in Indonesia. With the presidential and general elections in Indonesia just weeks away, the issue of China's dominance of the economy may become a controversial election issue. The government and the next administration will need to maintain good relations with China and will require Chinese investment to support the country's downstreaming policy. Parents need to be aware of online risks. SCMP opinion. A survey conducted by the Chinese YMCA of Hong Kong has revealed that 43.4% of schoolchildren find their parents' posts about them on social media embarrassing, while over 28% hate them. The survey also revealed that over 80% of parents have posted information about their children on social media platforms. The Hong Kong Privacy Commissioner has issued guidance encouraging parents to be cautious and seek consent when sharing images and personal information about their children on social media. The Commissioner also advises parents to be aware of the potential risks, including cyberbullying and identity theft. Authorities must ensure that Hong Kong's sporting progress is sustained. SCMP opinion. Hong Kong's elite athletes have achieved remarkable success in recent years, winning medals at the Olympics and Asian Games. This success is attributed to increased government investment in elite sports. However, there are challenges ahead, including improving training and facilities for young athletes and fostering a stronger sporting culture. Transparency and accountability in funding allocation need to be addressed, and the public should be informed about the value for money they are receiving. The findings of a Sports Institute review of Asian Games performance should be made public, and more information is needed about facility provisions. The completion of new sports facilities, such as the Kai Tak Sports Complex, presents an opportunity to sustain progress and engage the public. United have edge over Liverpool in Hong Kong exhibition, but Figo stands supreme. South China Morning Post. The World Football Masters Cup took place in Hong Kong over the weekend, showcasing a number of retired football stars, including Michael Owen, Paul Scholes, and Luis Figo. The event drew a crowd of around 7,000, with ticket prices ranging from HK$280 to HK$980. The atmosphere was said to be better than recent visits by present-day teams. The match prompted the question of whether football was better in the old days. David Cameron hints at future China trip as part of engagement effort. Telegraph. David Cameron, the former UK Prime Minister, is reportedly planning to visit China as part of his approach to engage with Beijing on issues such as climate change. The move is likely to further inflame tensions with conservative backbenchers who have criticized the government's stance on China. Cameron's predecessor, James Cleverly, visited China last summer, drawing criticism from some conservative MPs who claimed the trip was an example of appeasement. Keep party going but revamp, call for Hong Kong's Temple Street as crowds return. South China Morning Post. The Temple Street tourist attraction in Hong Kong needs young vendors with fresh ideas to revitalize the market. The current stalls have remained unchanged for 10 to 20 years, says Raymond Chan Kamwing, chairman of the Ahmadiyya Temple Street Association of Hawkers and Shop Operators. Many of the stallholders are in their 70s and 80s and do not introduce new products or souvenirs. The COVID-19 pandemic has made the situation worse. A temporary night market opened last month and has had a good response so far, with stallholders hoping it can become permanent. China's admin restructure ripples out to provinces to tighten party control. South China Morning Post. China's provinces have begun an administrative restructuring program to allow the ruling Communist Party to take greater control over areas such as big data and finance. The changes at a local level are in line with similar changes made at national level during 2018, including the creation of a national big data authority and the consolidation of financial regulators. Provincial authorities have made progress in creating the required departments, such as data administration and social work departments. The restructure is aimed at helping China outpace the US and other Western nations in AI and big data. Messi, Suarez exit at halftime as Hong Kong-bound Inter Miami start World Tour. South China Morning Post. Luis Suarez made his debut for Inter Miami in a 0-0 draw against El Salvador. The Uruguayan forward, who recently joined the Major League Soccer team, started alongside Lionel Messi, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba, all former Barcelona players. Suarez struggled to make an impact and was substituted at halftime. Messi had a chance to score but was denied by the goalkeeper. The match was the first of several preseason friendlies for Miami before their season opener on February 21. They will play FC Dallas, Al Hilal, Al Nassr, a Hong Kong select team, Vissel Kobe, and Newell's Old Boys before the start of the season. Coolmore cast off Caballas defies betting drift with classy display. The Sydney Morning Herald. Caballas, a 3-year-old colt, made an impressive return to racing by setting a class record at Rosehill in Australia. Despite bookmakers taking risks on the horse, Caballas won its race by 1 1/4 lengths, ahead of Walenda and Soldier of Rome. Trainer Bjorn Baker was pleased with the performance, but said he would not rush the horse into further races. The colt, who was bought for $1 million, was sold by the Coolmore Colt Syndicate after its last preparation, and Derby Racing purchased it for $300,000. The horse will now be aimed at the Inglis Sprint, which offers prize money of $1 million. In other races, Fully Lit took a 2-year-old race, Arkobazan was victorious in another race, and Sneaky Page won as well. Willowdow won a midway handicap, and Bon Frankie won a highway handicap, earning a place in the country championship's Maruya Heat. That's all for today's news, folks. Let's recap what we've learned. 1. Southeast Asian nations in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, Asean, have successfully navigated the rivalry between the US and China by adopting a balanced approach and avoiding taking sides. 2. Chen Yufan from China won the men's 10 km race at the Standard Chartered Hong Kong Marathon, while Candy Sang Hiu Tung from Hong Kong was the first woman to finish. 3. The recent accident at a Chinese-run smelter in Indonesia has raised concerns over poor health and safety standards, which may become a controversial election issue in the upcoming presidential race. 4. A survey in Hong Kong has revealed that many schoolchildren find their parents' posts about them on social media embarrassing, highlighting the need for parents to be cautious when sharing personal information about their children. 5. Hong Kong's sporting progress needs to be sustained by addressing challenges such as improving training and facilities for young athletes and fostering a stronger sporting culture. 6. The World Football Masters Cup in Hong Kong showcased retired football stars and drew a crowd of around 7,000, prompting the question of whether football was better in the old days. 7. Former UK Prime Minister David Cameron is planning to visit China as part of his engagement efforts, which has drawn criticism from some Conservative MPs. 8. The Temple Street tourist attraction in Hong Kong needs young vendors with fresh ideas to revitalize the market, as many of the current stallholders are in their 70s and 80s and do not introduce new products. 9. China's provinces are undergoing an administrative restructuring to tighten party control over areas such as big data and finance, aligning with similar changes made at the national level. 10. Luis Suarez made his debut for Inter Miami in a preseason friendly match, starting alongside Lionel Messi, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba. 11. Caballos, a 3-year-old colt, made an impressive return to racing in Australia, setting a class record at Rosehill. That's all for today's news. Remember, it's important for small states to find their own path and navigate big power rivalries, just like Southeast Asian nations have done. And parents, be cautious when sharing about your children on social media, they might find it embarrassing. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and questions. What are your ideas about small states navigating big power rivalry? Let's discuss. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.